Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. To jump right in, I've already done my brows, so those are good to go. And we're going to move on to the eyes. I'm starting off with a base. I don't have a really good cruelty-free eyeshadow primer, so if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. So right now I'm just using my Tarte Shape Tape, and that works perfectly well. And I'm blending that in with a double-sided brush from It Cosmetics, which I've been loving for this, and I'm just blending that all over the lid from all over the lid, just everywhere. Then to set that concealer in place so it's not tacky and it helps the eyeshadow go on more smoothly, I'm just taking this brush from NYX. It doesn't have a name on it, actually has a number, so I'll try to leave it down below, but it is the perfect little brush for setting your primer or setting your under eye area. So I'm just dabbing a loose, or actually it's not loose, I'm just setting a face powder over that. I found that face powders work better for setting the primer than like a cream eyeshadow would, I don't know. But yeah, so then I'm going to move on. I'm taking my Morphe 350 palette, and I'm taking this tan shade on a Coastal Scents fluffy brush, and I'm just blending that in the crease area. This is just our first transition shade, so that's why I'm putting it on a larger fluffy brush, because I can really blow this color out. I don't have to make it too perfect. As you can see, I'm just kind of going ham in my crease, and as long as this color is nice and blended, this is going to be the one, or the color that's closest to our brow bone, so that's why you can be a little bit more messy with this, and you want to just make sure that it's in the crease from the inner corner to the outer corner. Then for our next shade, I'm taking my Meet Matrimony palette, and I'm making that face because mine is absolutely disgusting because my black shattered and got all over the place. So I'm taking the shade Matte Lopez, which is like a slightly darker brown, has a little bit more orange in it, and we're just going to put this on a Real Techniques brush. Still a fluffy brush, but it's more precise and a little bit more tapered, so you can fit it closer into the crease. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this shade directly in the crease right on top of that other shade, but we're going to keep it a little bit more tight in the crease, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to take my first brush again with no additional product on it, just with whatever was left over, and I'm just going to blend out that second color. Then once again from my Morphe palette, I'm taking this reddish brown shade and I'm putting that on a even more tapered blending brush. This one is from Pirouette. I absolutely love their brushes, so I will put them in the down bar, and once again I'm just sticking that in the crease, keeping it more tight to the crease, and just really building up the color and creating more depth and intensity to the look, because we are going to put an even darker brown below that on the lid, so we want them all to fade nicely into each other and make it a nice what's it called? Gradient. That is the word I'm looking for. So yes, we want it to be a nice gradient from dark to light brown. Then of course you want to grab your other brush with the lighter shade on it and blend out the darker shade. You want to get a quick blend in between each step just to make sure everything is looking nice and tight and nothing is looking patchy and gross, and it all looks nice and seamless. So moving on, I was very nervous to use this because I had never used it before, and I was just praying to the gods that it wasn't going to create like a really harsh line in my crease that wasn't going to blend out and was going to ruin everything, but that didn't end up happening. It turned out to be really creamy and actually easy to work with and blend out, so I'm just blending that up to my actual crease of my eye, nothing higher. I don't want this to disturb any of the other colors, and I'm just using kind of dragging motions to blend that out and make the line not as harsh from where the two colors meet. And after that, I'm going to take my Meet Matrimony palette again, and I'm taking Matte Reed, I think that said, it went too fast, and I'm taking that on a really dirty fluffy brush, and I chose to do a fluffy brush because it kind of just packs it on and blends it out at the same damn time. So that's why I chose that, and I'm just kind of rubbing it over the base and then blending it out in the crease, like I said, kind of simultaneously. And like I had kind of predicted, the dark chocolate brown on the lid naturally wanted to stick down just to the base and didn't really want to blend into those transition shades, so I took my smaller tapered brush with the reddish brown color on it, and I just went back and forth using windshield wiper motions into that crease, so I was putting the color right back on top of the chocolate brown. And once I did that, the lid color and the transition colors really faded nicely into each other, and so that's just what I kept doing from inner corner to outer corner, making sure that the intensity was consistent throughout on both sides, if that makes any sense. And then just going back with the lighter colors and blending out the edges just to make sure that everything looks nice. Then I went ahead and finished up the other eye, and I tried to do that cute little hand trick, and props to people who can make that actually look real, because I clearly cannot. Then I'm going to move on to cleaning up the eyeshadow. I just got a makeup remover wipe, and I'm just dragging it down to create a nice sharp line, and then cleaning up any fallout that I may have gotten during the application. And then I'm going to move on to Alison, can you hurry up? You're done cleaning now. Okay. Alright, then I'm going to move on to the White Liquid Liner by NYX. Not sure that I recommend this one because it did end up drying and getting all crackly on me, and I was not a fan of that. But before we do that, I'm just putting a little piece of tape right next to that line that we created because this particular liquid liner had a brush tip, and brush tips scare me, and every time I use one, my wing ends up being super large and in charge, and that's not what I wanted for this look. I didn't want the white liner to be like the focal point. I just wanted it to be like a cute little detail, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I'm only going halfway with the liner. I'm stopping like in the half. Okay, I just said that. I'm going halfway because, like I just said, I do not want the white to completely take up my entire lid space and cover up all the work that we had just done. And then for my second bit of detailing work in this look, I've been seeing this technique of doing like the little half line in the inner crease all over Instagram, so I wanted to give it a go and see if I could do it. And ever since I got this rose gold liner from Tarte that has like a metallic shade on one side and then a glitter on the other, which is just so beautiful. I love this. This is like all I could imagine doing with it, and so I was really excited to play with this, and the liner was so smooth. It did have a slight bit of cracking like the white one did, like after it had dried, just because my eyes were like moving around and like kind of disturbing it, but it still ended up looking really amazing. And yeah, I don't think I breathed for like 10 minutes during this clip. But what I found really helpful was, as you can see, my pinky finger is like kind of docking my hand on my cheek, and that gave me a lot more control, and it helped me keep the line a little bit more straight. It was a little bit thicker than I had planned, but that's just because, you know, it was my first time and it's really hard to get a perfect thin line. But we are going to let the eyes chill for a second and move to the face. So first I'm priming with Smashbox's primer water, and that's just going to help hydrate and let the makeup stick, and I'm covering my eyes because I don't want it to disturb the liner. And then moving on to foundation, I'm using my Urban Decay All Nighter and my 100% pure foundation, and I'm mixing them together to get a really high coverage finish because my skin was not the clearest and I wanted to make sure that that was nice and covered up. I'm using a smaller concealer brush to apply my foundation at first because I wanted to use it to carve out my brows, so that way when I go in and blend it all out with my beauty blender, I don't have to get right up close to my brows because it's like impossible to get a straight line with a fat ass beauty blender. So that's why I'm doing this step first, and I'm also just going to kind of place it around my face, put it where I want it, so that way I can blend it out later with my sponge. And while I am painting my face, I did just want to ask you guys if you had any recommendations for like your favorite vegan foundations. I'm kind of on the hunt, and that has been one of the products that I've struggled most to find like a favorite. So let your girl know if you have found any good ones, because I really need to branch out in that area. For concealer, I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape. Surprise, surprise. It's the best concealer ever, which I'm sure you already know. Yeah, can't get away from it, and neither can anybody else. So I'm also going to mix it with my Tattoo Lock-It Concealer Cream, just because, I don't know, no reason really, I just wanted to mix them. So I'm just putting that under my eyes in a triangle shape, and then blending that out, or I guess I'm putting it on my chin and my smile lines. I find that I have less creasing when I put concealer there instead of just foundation, and then also on my nose. And I'm taking that concealer brush again just to get right up close to that line that we created with our eyeshadow, just to make sure that I don't mess it up again with the beauty blender butt being so big. Booty so big, can't get close to a line. That should be a rap song. No, it shouldn't, because that's fucking stupid. Anyways, so I'm just blending that out with my beauty blender like one would do in this particular situation. So continue on until you get to your powder, and I'm using the RCMA, sorry I'm getting weird, and I'm using a different sponge. This is the Eco Tools one, and I'm switching over because it has the really defined flat side, so that just helps me with my baking skills, and it just gets me a little bit closer to my eye, and I don't know, it's not that much of a difference, but I have been enjoying it lately. And I am just going to bake around my under eyes, around my smile lines, pretty much where I put that concealer, and then I'm going to switch over to my, okay, come on, I gotta speed this up, but now I'm switching over to, okay, Okay, now I am finally switching over to my powder foundation. This is by the Balm. It's the Photobalm one, and I'm using this Tarte Kabuki brush, which I love for applying powder, and I'm just kind of stamping that on the other places. Okay, well now I'm swirling, but normally I just kind of stamp it on because that way I don't remove any of the foundation or kind of move it around. And I'm just going to do that where I did not put any of the concealer, okay. I'm going to put this where I didn't put any of the RCMA powder. I'm losing it. So now that I'm like halfway done with my face, I'm going to move back to the eyes. I don't know why, I'm just gonna do it. So I'm going to tightline with my Tarte black eyeliner. I forgot the exact name, but I'll leave it down below. And then I'm going to go back to my Morphe palette, grab the same shade that we used in our crease, and buff this from inner corner to outer corner on the bottom lash line. All we're gonna do here is basically mimic what we did on the top lid, so we're gonna pretty much use those same colors. And for the waterline, I'm going to go in with this NYX Très Jolie eyeliner in a brown color. And then going back to the Morphe palette, we're going to take the reddish brown that we put in our crease. Again, like I said, and I'm using a smaller pencil brush to apply this. And you want to get this really close to the lash line, but this isn't going to be the one that's closest to the lash line. You'll see in a minute. We're going to go in with that dark brown and try to get that even closer. We want to really just hug the root of those lashes. And don't forget to blend it out in the process, like while you're doing it. Put one color down, blend it out, and make it nice and smoky. And yeah, you get the picture. Now going back to the face, I'm taking my Tarte Pro Glow palette and I'm taking the shade Sculpt, which is a very beautiful contour shade, especially if you are fair skinned, because it has a really beautiful cool toned undertone to it, so it's really suitable for us fair skinned ladies. And yeah, I'm just going to put that underneath my cheekbones, on my temples, across my forehead, and anywhere that I want to appear to recede back or to create a shadow. So also bringing that down on the jawline and under the chin as well to chisel out those areas. And then I was trying to decide if I wanted to leave it at that or go in with a little bit more color, so I caved in and I grabbed my Wet n Wild Contour Duo, and I'm grabbing the bronzer. It's a really warm bronzer, so I'm only taking a slight amount on my brush and just putting it right over that contour a little bit higher just to bronze up the skin, because the eyes are so bronzy that I wanted it to kind of match with that. So I'm just putting that where I contoured and on the forehead as well. So now I'm taking the same Sculpt shade in another Pirouette blending brush, and I'm going to attempt to contour my nose. And watching the footage back right now, it almost looks like I'm making it worse by doing this. It's not translating the way that it looks in real life. So I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this on camera or not, because it just kind of looks funky. But I don't have like a great nose to contour anyways, because mine has bumps and shadows in it where I would need the contour lines to go. So it kind of just makes them uneven, like no matter what I do. I'm so jealous of people that just have straight noses that they can just make slimmer with like 2 lines down them. But anyways, I tried, and I'm still experimenting with my particular nose shape and trying to get it right. Otherwise, I kind of just need to give it up because I'm not really achieving much, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just going to tap that out with my beauty blender that still has some powder on it, just to kind of mute it down a little bit so it's not so harsh, and then try to do a little line across the ball of my nose to give me more of a button nose. And again, don't really know if this does anything or if it helps the cause or not. But we are going to move on now to blush. I'm going to be using my Tarte, forgot what it's called, I will leave the name down below like I kept saying, because I'm a terrible freaking voiceover person. So I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics blush brush because it is my ride or die blush brush. If you have been following me for a while, you already noticed. So I'm just going to put that on the apples of my cheeks and blend it back towards my contour. And then for highlight, I'm so excited to finally be using this on camera because it has been my absolute obsession. I use nothing else pretty much. This is the Makeup Geek and Kathleen Light collaboration highlight palette, and I use the middle shade and the more golden shade to get the perfect highlight. And I'm just so obsessed. I love this formula. It just, I don't know, it's just so different than all my other highlighters, and I really, really like it. So I'm just putting that on the tops of my cheekbones cheekbones and above my eyebrows, on my nose, Cupid's bow, chin, pretty much everywhere. And I'm also going to take that same highlighter, just the pink shade, and I'm going to put that on my brow bone to highlight because I can't get enough of it. For falsies, I'm going to use the Ardell Demi Wispies because they are cheap from the drugstore and they're pretty natural looking, but they still look like you have, you know, better lashes than your own, or at least for me. And yeah, these are my favorite lashes, so I'm just going to pop those on and then move on to mascara. I'm using Wet n Wild's Mega Length, and I'm just going to coat my top lashes to cover up some of that white liner that I got all over them from putting on that liner, and to mix them in with the fake ones so they look a little bit more natural. Also giving my bottom lashes a good coat of this. I'm still getting over the fact that I can't use my Rimmel Glam Eyes anymore. I'm hurt on like a deeply spiritual level. Anyways, I'm going to go back to the eyes and highlight the inner corners because I forgot to when I was using this palette earlier. So I'm just going to pop some more of that highlighter there. And then we're almost done, I promise. Moving on to the lips, I'm using ColourPop's lip liner in Chai or Chi. Don't know which one it is. Gonna line my lips with that and then move on to lipstick. And for that, I'm using this one by NYX. It is part of their Pinup Pout line, and it's a beautiful nude with like a brown undertone, so I thought it would go perfect with these eyes. So I'm just putting that all over the lips, and then to top that off, I really wanted to match with the detailing, the rose gold detailing on the eyes. So I grabbed this ColourPop liquid lipstick, the metallic one, and it's like this beautiful rose gold shade. And I just wanted to do that to be matchy-matchy, and I haven't tested out any of these metallic liquid lipsticks from any brand really, so I wanted to give them a go, and I actually really liked how this turned out. And then really last minute, I decided to go all basic bitch on you guys and add one of those faux lip rings in the same rose gold shade as I put on my eyes. And that is the completed look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I tried to step out of my box and do something different, but let me know what kinds of looks that you guys want to see, and I will try to do those. So yeah, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all your kind words on my last video, by the way. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!